And now, coming to you from the Pensado Media Center, powered by Westlake Pro.
Evolutions in the digital music space. Learn more, get better. Got a brand new ITL. You're at the place. It's Pensado's place.
Hey, thanks for dropping by and hanging out with us. We got a great show for you today. I think I'm going to learn a lot today. How about you, Herm?
I think the same. Shall we get to it?
Let's do it.
All right. Hey, family, great to be with you, and to our great partners as well. 1500 or Nothing, the Blackbird Academy, Westlake Pro, Groove 3, and Fab Factory. Two great educational opportunities, one in Nashville, the other in LA. The Blackbird Academy, of course, in Nashville, has openings in their April 9th and July 9th classes. Plus, they're offering 2 high school 5-day summer camps, July 16th through 20th, August 6th through 10th. If you're a high schooler, you literally can go immerse yourself in the school and the studios and get to see if you want to do this for a living. Very cool. For info, go to theblackbirdacademy.com or contact Karma at theblackbirdacademy.com. Trust me, it's worth it. The other opportunities in LA, the super hot production collective 1500 or Nothing, they've opened up their Sound Academy and they're offering a series of workshops. As an example, take a look at this upcoming one, Navigating the Industry by Jay Deal. Take a look.
I'm Jay Deal, composer, producer for Elton John, programmer for Janet Jackson, toured with Neo, Snoop Dogg. People often ask me, how did I get to where I got in the industry? What are some of the things that I did to transcend and be visible, to get the big gig? Some things that I'm going to share are actually transferable to all industries, all career paths. Also, I plan on talking about how to wear different hats and what those actual positions are, how to form a team, and how to decide when you need to do some of these tasks yourself or partner with someone else, and teaching students how to apply it and how to take everything to the next level, how to stay ahead of the game and form new relationships and forge new paths. This is what the 1500 Sound Academy is all about.
So beyond that information, there's another couple of workshops. The next one's on March 31st. That's with the CEO and president of 1500 or Nothing, Rance Dobson and James Fauntleroy, one of the best songwriters out there. They'll evaluate your music, answer all your questions, give you the hit maker's perspective and the tools they use to help with their success. And then there's a third on April 6th. That one's called the Where My Money At workshop, which is on all things publishing. If you're a creative person, you need to know about publishing. That's going to be moderated by Tuff Morgan. He's with Peer Music, and we just highly suggest all creators need to know their business as well as understand their creativity. For more information on the workshops at the 1500 Sound Academy, go to 1500sound.academy. You can sign up, get any information, and I think you'll enjoy. Right off the 405, brand new facility. You're going to enjoy it. Here's something else cool for you, this week's ITL. What you got?
Oh, really good one, really good one. 4 reverbs that are new that I'm using a lot lately. Check it out.
Let's roll it.
Hey guys, I love reverbs and I like the emotion we can get out of them. I like how we can pan front to rear with them. We just had several reverbs that came out recently. Some of these are a little newer than other ones, but I want to share them all with you. This is one of my favorites. There was the 480 Lexicon Reverb was a staple in every studio. I can't remember if it was Lexicon or a third party made a cart that would go into that reverb, plug into it, and give you extra sounds and extra reverbs. They were very hard to find. I don't know if I ever saw one, but Reverb Foundry got a hold of one and recreated it spectacularly. This reverb is really good. I'm not doing anything. I just brought it up. Here, this is the way it comes up. Check this out. Well, let me play you the sound. Okay, here's the sound that we're working on. Now, it already has reverb on it, so watch. You heard the dynamics, you heard the emotion, you got a feeling. It gave you kind of a little emotional thing. Now let's add this reverb and see if we can feel anything different. Pretty amazing. Let me just show you this last note without it, with it. You see what I'm talking about? Pretty cool. Now, this next one is from my buddies over at Brainworks, and this reverb is a little bit longer. I like some of the short reverbs in this. The long ones have a lot of things going on in the tail. It's just, this is really good. So this is without it. Okay, let's check it out. Oh, you know what we could do with this? Watch this. Oh, man. It's the simple things in life, guys. That was sweet. The 80s, there was a blossoming of reverbs and synthesizers and sounds we'd never heard before. And some of the less expensive reverbs from the 80s caught our attention and just mesmerized us. MIDI-verb was one that comes to mind. Let me show you this. This is a recreation from a very inexpensive little piece of gear called an SPX 90. And check it out. See, it's sweet, it's subtle. I'm not sure if we do subtle. Do we do subtle, Changor? I don't think we do.
We do subtle.
We do subtle. Okay, well then I'll choose, heck, let's just try one. That's kind of cool. With it. Ooh, let's try this. So as it's going along, we'll widen it. Watch this. I didn't do it very good, but okay. Oh, Rematrix. This is a good one too. This is a new one for me. A lot of you guys have been using it for a minute. I think it's about a year old, something like that. But check it out. You can load different impulse responses in these slots, and then you can alter the color of it. You can change the drive. There's so many different things you can do. I've got a sound already on it. Let me see. Okay, just to refresh your memory. I know I'm driving you nuts playing this over and over again, but okay, well, now with it. So that gives us a different flavor too. Those of you that liked what I did, stick around. Those of you that didn't like it, it's just, you can go ahead and leave a little early. But I want to give you guys a sneak peek at this one. This is R4. It's a little more expensive. Most of these are very affordable. This one's a little more expensive, but this one does so much. If you can get your hands on it, I'm telling you, it's a game changer. Check this out. One more without it. Now listen to all the complex movement in this thing. Let's try it again. Let's try a couple of things here. Let me see if I can pick out a good one for you real quick. Here we go. That's what I want right here. Watch this. So, there you go. Experiment. Don't be afraid to put some color behind your reverb. Maybe drop the bit rate. Maybe put a little bit of a saturation, distortion. A big fan favorite around here is Devil Lock by Sound Toys. But anything that gives it a little color, don't be afraid to mess it up a little bit. And always listen to, anytime you put color or saturation on the end of a reverb, make sure that you listen to it inside the mix, because that's where it's going to really give you the color. All right, I hope you enjoy some of those guys, and I'm not exaggerating, guys. I shoot straight with you. These are the 5 reverbs that I'm using a lot these days. I think it fits in with the modern world today. In the hip hop world, must have. In the pop world, definitely too. Okay, guys, thanks for hanging out. I'll see you soon.
All of us live and work in the digital music space, that's for sure. Today's guest, former CEO of Beatport, current Chief Digital Officer of Native Instruments, has seen a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to talk about it. Please welcome to the place, Matthew Adell. Hey,
Thanks
man.
for having me.
Good.
Matt, good to see you
Good to
again.
see you.
So, beyond the fact that you're probably tied for the coolest hair on a guest we've ever had, as a place to start from, well, that's a whole other thing. We'll get to that. In your career course and path, the changes in the digital music space, they're just coming consistent. Our contention is that these changes will never stop. This is an industrial revolution that will constantly be a revolution. Fair to say?
Yeah, I think we're really only experiencing the beginning of the technological evolution for creativity.
It's just scratching the surface.
Absolutely.
So let's go back a little bit, because Beatport, obviously a seminal place. What brought you to that point? What did you see while you were there and CEO of that? And give us kind of the Matthew take of that time.
Well, I've always sold records. I started selling records when I was in high school in 81 or 82. And I love records. And Beatport was really a continuation of my first love, which was working at a record store. Some really cool DJs in Denver had founded Beatport. At the time, I was working at legal Napster. I like to remind everyone, legal. I was there
Napster.
when we were paying people.
There's a differentiation for sure.
And one day someone called me and said, would you ever consider moving to Denver? And I blurted out immediately, only to work for this company, Beatport. Have you heard of them? And it was Beatport calling to see if I was interested to go work there.
Wow.
And about 3 months later, I left LA and moved to Denver to be at Beatport. It was just an incredible experience, an incredible time.
What about you had they noticed that made you a candidate for them?
I have a background in dance music. I grew up in Chicago, the home of house music.
Absolutely.
There was
Pettibone.
there was a time when I was one of the few straight white boys listening to house music at the clubs.
Right.
Mind you, I was a few years behind some of the really great innovators, but I had this background in house music. I had been a rave DJ, not a good one, but
nonetheless, committed.
Bid one.
Yeah.
And also I had this experience in digital music operations. And I had not been working in dance music for a while, had been working in just sort of traditional pop music, and it was just so great to return to my first love, DJing.
And then so during the Beatport period, what were some of the things that were evolving at the time that you didn't see when you went there, experienced while you went there, and now have gone on to other things?
Well, the guys who founded Beatport, they really saw before iTunes existed, they identified that why are DJs ripping their vinyl so that they can digitally DJ.
Right.
And they had started building Beatport before there was any competitors in the market, including iTunes was not in the market yet when they started building Beatport. So they were really the visionaries about where that was going. When I got there, what I saw change really, really drastically during my time there was the power of social media to drive consumption and drive awareness, and the shift towards social media becoming the centrifugal force of the industry, as opposed to this add-on marketing thing. It became actually where people spend most of their time.
Yeah, it wasn't the outlier. It was the fulcrum.
Yeah.
Early on, I'm pretty sure I joined Beatport in the first 6 months. I forget who told me. It might have been, well, that doesn't matter. But that changed my life. I tell you why. Because I wasn't. I was in the dance scene as a guest, but the stuff that was coming out of the community then was so inventive. And whenever I'd run into a creative block in my mix work, I'd play some Beatport stuff and get an idea. You know. Wolfgang Gartner, some of those guys were just doing stuff that no one else was doing. This is way before Skrillex, in case you're counting. And the thing that I liked about Beatport was the fact that they had better quality audio when they were, and you could download it.
Yeah.
And they were making money doing it in a time when other people weren't. And I think that portended being ripped off by some of the bigger companies for what they did with their musical download systems. It was way more important than people gave it credit for.
Oh yeah, the guys who started it just absolutely saw the future before anybody else.
Was focusing on making it good audio as important as the interface being easy and the scope of what was available to just, was the quality of it an important thing?
Absolutely. You can't DJ with, I don't know if I can swear here, a shitty fucking MP3 file.
Not that much. Come on, man.
And the guys knew that, and lossless was a big part of the business. Yeah. For a long time, it was the only place you could actually legally buy a lossless file. And if you weren't buying lossless files, you weren't really DJing with it. An MP3 file is great if you're just learning your craft as a DJ. You're DJing in your bedroom. You want to get better at it. Technically, it works. But when I hear what is clearly not a lossless file in a club, my face just scrunches up.
What are some projects at Native Instrument that are capturing your imagination that you can share with us?
Sure. Well,
by the way, I'm a big fan.
Thank you. Myself and all my colleagues really appreciate that.
I mix with Contact.
Yeah?
Just about every mix. I mean, it's just the best, you know?
I'm a hobbyist producer, hobbyist remixer, DJ who's used Tractor, and being a part of that company and the history of those products is incredible. I've been so lucky. Over the years, when I worked at Napster, when it was legal, if people saw me with my Napster bag in the airport, they would say, "Hey, is that thing still around?" Which was very sad because I was working there right then. But then when I got to Beatport, it was just beloved. You say Beatport and people are like, "Oh, I love that thing." Yeah. And now at Native Instruments, it's a whole different category of people who tell me they love it all the time. Lots of times if I'm chatting with an Uber driver, they're driving to make ends meet, and they want to talk about the Machina product, which is my favorite Native product right now. What I'm doing at Native is building services for creators and musicians and producers.
Would those be social services?
Any kind of cloud or web-based service those constituents might need is what I'm working on with my team. They bought, Native Instruments a year ago bought my startup MetaPop, which was focused on services for...
I forgot you were part of MetaPop.
It focused on services for remixers, and it's really become a community of aspirational new producers actually being nice to each other and supportive. We're really proud of that. And now I've been working on this thing called sounds.com, which is a service, it's a marketplace that's a service for two sets of people. People who need copyright-free audio files for their productions, be it video game work, you're making a techno track, you're making a jingle, whatever, as well as for producers can make their loops and samples available to that audience there.
So it's two-way interactivity.
It's a two-way marketplace.
So if you put, just don't name names, but let's say you put a sample pack up there, do you get paid for that?
You do.
Okay.
You do. Sounds.com is different than a lot of the other services. We're subscription-based. So the splits work on a pro rata basis, which is the same way Spotify works.
Pro rata is a big word. What does that mean?
It means split. So if someone downloaded 10 of your things and 5 of your things and 5 of your things, you get half the money and you'd get 25% and I'd get 25%.
So what you're saying is they download twice as many of mine as they would of Herb's?
That's what I'm guessing. Yeah, that's a fair.
That's good.
That was the Society of Deaf.
Hey man, why you gotta go there?
Oh no, because they like the way you look.
The deaf have to hear too.
They do, absolutely. We need to provide for them as well. the Sounds.com got launched recently.
Yeah,
correct?
it's been 7 weeks.
Right. Yeah, it's brand new.
Yeah.
And the social media context and aspect of that is that how you market to people? Is that how?
It is actually. It's the channel for marketing is Facebook and Instagram. We do a lot of other stuff, and we're new and we're U.S. only right now. But social media, well, it is media at this point, and you can do such a good job of targeting people, so you're reaching people who actually care, and you're not wasting other people's time who aren't interested in it. People talk a lot about how social targeting lets you save money, but I think one of the other benefits is, as a human being, I'm not being exposed to a bunch of advertising that's meaningless to me.
Listen, we have long, at least with our little thing, have always thought that engagement was more important than clicks forever. And size is a relative value. You can be big and meaningless and flop all over the place, or you can be targeted and specific and passionate to people. And I think we prefer the latter.
That's what I like about the subscription aspects of music right now too, is that I grew up selling people records, and our job and the industry's job basically was to get you to buy an album, preferably a CD for $15, because you like one or two songs on it. And we didn't really have any vested interest in whether you liked the thing you bought. We didn't care if you ever played it again after the first time. And now what's exciting about music is the stuff that succeeds because people love it, because they repeatedly listen to it, because money is really, how much revenue can be generated is totally tied to how many times people listen to something. That's way more exciting than tricking people into buying the next Smash Mouth CD.
Can I go back one paragraph, 2 paragraphs? If I were to put up a loop on sounds.com, is it plural sound or sounds?
It is sounds.com. No, sound.com.
It wasn't a trick question. And
Sounds. Sounds.com. Sorry, we went back and forth at the office for a while. It's only been 7 weeks.
So if I was to put up, say, a loop, and that loop would be copyright free.
Correct.
But I would still make the same amount of money if it got used, right?
That is correct. We're not doing rights management today. I do think there's going to be technological advancements in the future that allow that whole value chain to be tracked, but that doesn't really quite work yet today.
Can I digress for a second?
You already have. Just continue.
It's my charm.
Exactly.
One of the things I like about samples and loops, and this is painfully obvious, but most people don't think about it for some reason. When you start with a kick drum sound and a snare drum sound you like, you have a huge advantage on the creativity that follows that than when you randomly start with something that's a placeholder sound. So when you use a loop, a lot of people think that's cheating, but what it is you've selected a piece of music that you truly, really, really like, and then you build on that, and it just gets better and better and better, hopefully. But when you start from scratch, you have to sit there and go, do I like this? Is that good? Does that kick sound right? Does this sound okay? Is it grooving? And
it streamlines your decision-making process.
There you go.
It can slow down your flow, and also being able to start, any creativity starting with a blank page is extra hard.
Absolutely.
But like I'm not a synthesizer player, but my friends that are, they maintain that getting a new synthesizer or a new patch can create a whole new song. Just that one little patch can make you write a great song. We've seen that on the show before.
Well,
it's a great technique and one that doesn't get talked about enough because there's parts of the population that keep going back to the old ways of doing everything, and I think that's a good thing.
But along that line, then, and particularly as you thought about it, Native Instruments thought about it, the interface, that a lot of attention had to be put into that to make it simple for people to use, select things, understand the process, sign up, and was all that part of the development process?
Oh, absolutely. It'd be this kind of e-commerce environment. We talk a lot about conversion. We want you to come to the front door, and we want you to convert to whatever behavior you're going to find valuable, and we want you to get to it quickly. Also, at Sounds.com, our goal isn't that you come there and shop for 2 hours as a specific behavior. Our goal really is that while you're creating or while you're looking to be inspired, you can get in get the thing you need, and get out and get back to your workflow of songwriting. So our goal isn't to have you spend a lot of time on site. It's actually to, as rapidly as possible, get what you want. And in addition to the interface, which I think will be familiar to most people using digital music, we have this MIR technology that Native developed, Music Information Retrieval Technology. And as the audio is uploaded into our back-end system, the MIR technology effectively is a robot that listens to the audio and generates a tremendous amount of metadata about that audio that didn't exist before the robot listened to it, that allows search and discovery to be really intuitive. So you can search for feelings, moods, instruments. The MIR technology even knows if a hi-hat is closed or open in the loop, which I think is really hot.
Can it distinguish genres like trap and...
Slowly. It's pretty good at really separated things, but I wouldn't rely on that for... And also genre is so...
hard,
well, it's hard and it's subjective. I don't think anyone from country to country agrees what trance music is right now. It's different to everybody.
Also in the dance world, bless their hearts, they got like 8 million categories. They're only rivaled by the heavy metal crowd. But.
Is MIR AI-based?
It is effectively, and it'll always get better. But it's a technology that Native has been working on for almost the entirety of its 20-year history, so it predates even a lot of the catchphrases around AI today. But we're taking it into that future.
So it's NIAI.
Yes.
Exactly. How do you pronounce that?
And they're not all funny.
I know, but you're fearless, and that counts. You get medals for trying.
Hey, man, I got medical excuses.
As you sit with a company like Native Instruments, I would imagine guys, there's certain guys and ladies, but there are certain folks that like looking into the void when there's nothing there and trying to see where it's going to be or getting on that train. And you have to be in that kind of environment with other people who think that way in order to be supported in your efforts, right? Is that a fair description of Native Instrument and kind of where they want to go and what they're trying to do? They've always seemed to me to be on the edge.
Oh, yeah. I mean, really forward thinkers. I mean, 21 years ago, Native Instruments effectively invented this kind of product and has always been way ahead of the curve. Native Instruments is based in Berlin. I get to go to Berlin a lot. It's filled with incredible thinkers about how music could be made in the future. And now we're really building a big, smart team in LA that's focused on how do we support producers and creators. What are the things they need to improve their workflow or improve their success in the marketplace?
Plus, 4 years ago, they won one of the biggest awards in the industry.
The biggest.
Yeah, the biggest.
At the time.
At the time.
Yeah.
They won one of our visionary awards.
Herb and I thought about that award, going back to it, and this is a challenge to other manufacturers. Native Instruments does everything right. Like it downloads. You get stuff on a hard drive. There's the customer service is great. They do everything right. Like I download a lot of plugins because I'm blessed that a lot of manufacturers trust me to do that. And man, sometimes I just give up. And everything from Native Instruments always works. The presets are great. That you use it's great. Everything's self-explanatory. I'm not a big manual reader, and
you don't have to.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So now we come to the point where we have this fun little game called Batter's Box. Okay. And basically, we will ask you a question with a one-word question, and you answer in 1 or 2 words. There's no right answer. It's just kind of your opinion. So this is kind of going to be our first futurist one. Is that fair to call it?
No.
So are you a sports person at all?
I'm aware of sports.
That's plenty. That's all you have to do. So this is metaphorically baseball. He's the pitcher, you're the batter.
Right. First thing that comes to mind, it doesn't have to be intellectual, just first thing that comes to mind. Spotify.
Growing bigger.
Loops.
Samples.
Beatport.
DJs.
Streaming.
Everything.
I'll stop for a second. He's good, Herb.
Yeah, and fast.
Yeah.
We didn't see this coming.
STDs. Okay, you don't have to say that. The future.
Creativity.
Creativity.
Human right.
Wow. I should just quit, shouldn't I? I'll keep going just
Pretty
for the
close.
sake of the show, because I'm a trooper. YouTube.
Collections.
Samples.
Drum machines.
Sharing.
Not everything it's cut up to be.
Facebook.
Coding.
Wait a minute.
Oh,
Nice.
I'm sorry.
Facebook.
Advertising.
Got it. Coding.
Coding is a good one.
For people who are smarter than me.
That's a great answer.
Okay, I don't know quite how to frame this, but if the building that you're in with NI caught fire, which executive would you rescue? No, I made that up. If the building inside the building you caught on
Himself.
fire,
You could've just said
caught on
yourself
fire, from a musical perspective, what piece of gear would you rescue first?
Oh, man.
It could be a personal one or something you.
Yeah, I think I'd grab one of the collectible Machino units. There's some really special face-plated ones, a clear one in the office that I really have my
really?
eye on.
Yeah, he lit up, no pun intended.
No question about it.
Good stuff. I think he was probably the top 10 we've ever had, don't you?
Bat speed was really good.
Great questions,
Right.
great answers.
Matt, the other thing we'd ask you to do is carry some messages back to our friends at Native Instruments, Constantine and Carmen and Odd Kid Out. There's a few folks there.
Yeah. And also tell Jeremy I said hello. From Herb and I. He's amazing.
We in Nashville and in LA at NAMM, we've had two different folks on the machine. The fascinating thing in Nashville, which was probably 2 or 3 years ago, we would have these outdoor block parties essentially and have a bunch of panels and there'd be vendors and we'd make it like a 6-hour all-day thing, barbecue and beer and all kinds of stuff. And on this particular panel, we had Tony Brown, a Nashville giant, used to run Universal Music and so forth. And Jeremy, who was a real performer type guy, he went out and started performing. And he's got some funk to him, you know what I mean, some straight up funk.
It's amazing.
And to watch the Nashville musical community rush over there and they were enthralled. But more importantly, Tony Brown, who was sitting up with us, he got up, went over and stood beside Jeremy like a kid. And it was just new and interesting and fascinating. And it was, to me, a real example of how something that connects you gets past all the barriers. The fact that Tony is a musical guy, Nashville, guys are playing music, they're breaking for lunch, this was something new and interesting and made all kinds of sound. So anyways, we've had good experiences.
It was a weird question, but was there something before the machine? The machine was the first one I remember to come out that would kind of do those things. Some drum machines did pads and did all that, but the machine, I don't remember anything before it.
There was the MPC, from Akai. But Native
different.
Native just swooped in and did all those things better than anyone else, I think, ever had.
And more musical, too.
Yeah, I mean, to see people play a Machina is, incredibly impressive to me. I'm a drummer. When I watch people who are able to handle the kick with 2 different fingers on 2 different pads, I still need to do the kick with my right foot. I cannot figure that out. But when you see someone play something, even if you don't quite understand what they're doing, when you see someone doing that on a machine, you're just blown away.
You know where I can really tell is when you watch the physical manifestation of the person playing it. They get into something that is performance oriented, but is also helping. They're performing, but the way they're moving is helping what they're doing. And with Odd Kid Out at NAMM Jam, we created an event called NAMM Jam. You could see him shift from color and texture, just physically where he was going in different places. It was really fascinating. The digital music space is something that constantly needs attention, so we may have to drag you back and get some updates as things go on, or if you see something, I think we should also figure out a piece we do together. Tell our friends we said hello over at Native Instrument, and
will do. Thank you so much for having me.
Such a
Have
pleasure.
a great day, man.
Great. Cool. Say goodbye, Dave.
It's a new world. I recently had a friend of mine, top engineer, who did a mix for one of the top 5 hip hop artists, and they loved the mix, but they asked him if he would redo it through a laptop. They wanted the laptop sound. It's a new world. Better catch up. We'll see you soon.